I'm Jeff Matlow. Welcome to the best leadership podcast ever. Welcome back to the best leadership podcast ever, where every week we rethink your daily behaviors to help you catapult your career into the stratosphere, wherever that is. My name is Jeff Matlow. I'm a leadership coach. I help executives and entrepreneurs overcome self-doubt to become the types of leaders that lots of people want to follow. If you want to be a more inspirational leader, you know what? Maybe we should talk. Maybe I can help. You can find my information in the description below, but enough about me, right? You know what? Let me tell you a story about body surfing. Because there was one wave in particular that stole my entire enjoyment of the ocean. You see, I was 11 years old and I was at the beach with a friend and his family. And my friend and I were in the ocean and we were body surfing on the waves. We were having a grand old time. We were laughing, smiling. It was a blast. And then at one point I looked behind me and my heart dropped into my stomach. There was a massive, mean, and monstrous wave that was about to barrel down on my body, and I hadn't seen it coming. That smile that I mentioned a few seconds ago, it faded into fear pretty darn fast, because I didn't know what to do. This wave was about to pummel me, and I was trapped. And as it began to crash down on me, ready to quash me in its crushing grip, the current below me suddenly swept my legs out from under me, and I fell in the water. And just as I fell in the water, kapow! The wave hammered down on my body. I got swept away in the curl, tossed, turned, and tumbled. It was like I was a rag doll in a crazy washing machine. I lost my sense of direction and I panicked. I didn't know which way was air, and I desperately needed air. I needed to breathe. So I frantically swam for the surface. I was kicking, I was flailing, and just as I was about to lose what little oxygen remained in my lungs, my hands hit the sea floor. Yep, I was turned around. I had swum in the wrong direction. Shit. The panic intensified in me. I turned my body around and blasted to the top, and I emerged out of the water, gasping for life. And that was the moment when I was hit by the wave that stole my enjoyment of the ocean. You see, it was the wave to end all waves after the wave that had already shook me up. It was an equally big and equally forceful monster that barreled down on me immediately. I had no time to catch my breath. No time to recover from the life-shattering experience I just had. And once again, I tossed, I turned, I tumbled. I struggled to find direction. I struggled to get back to air. I struggled to find which way was up. And honestly, I struggled to survive. This was it. I knew I couldn't outlast another misdirected swim. And so I moved, I flailed, I swam for what I desperately hoped was the surface. And I pushed as hard as I could against the violent churn. And with one last effort, whoosh, I came up for air. I was gasping. I was drained. I dragged my body through the water, out of the ocean, onto the beach, and I collapsed onto the sand. And I never went back into the ocean again for the next 20 years. I think of that wave sometimes when I'm being criticized by somebody, because it feels the same. I feel the fear envelope me. When somebody tells me I'm wrong, I can sometimes feel myself tumbling and turning in that churn. I feel the life leave my lungs. I struggle for breath. I fight for my right to be right, and I hope I'm swimming in the right direction. Sometimes I'll push back. I'll battle the wave of criticism, as if I had the power to stop it, to change its inevitable course. I'll argue with a person criticizing me. You're wrong, I'll say. I'm right. And I may lash back at them. Who are you to say this to me? You're the one with the weaknesses. But if there's one thing I learned, it's that you can't fight the wave. It's more powerful than you think. You will always lose. Even if you win the battle, you'll lose the war every single time. At the age of 32, I was taught how to swim through the waves. I had been doing triathlons, and I wanted to do ocean triathlons. And I learned that the waves aren't monsters as much as music. And they aren't roaring. Instead, there's a rhythm. They rise and they fall in harmony. And you either dive under the wave and calmly avoid its wrath, or you float serenely above it and let it pass. Fighting the wave doesn't work. You can't fight a wave. Whether it's an ocean wave, a wave of anxiety, or a wave of fear, the only way to thrive is to embrace its flow. When somebody says you're wrong, instead of getting defensive and fighting back, you've got to float with the flow. And it can be done with 3 simple words. Here are the words. Tell me more. Be open to being wrong. Do you think I did something bad? Tell me more. Be open to curiosity and learning. Do you think I can improve myself? Tell me more. Strive to understand the other person's perspective and force yourself to do it with an open mind and an open heart. It doesn't mean they're right. It just means that you're willing to listen. Tell me more. I'm not saying this is easy. In fact, if you're used to fighting, if your natural tendency is to lash back, this change is going to feel really uncomfortable at first. But don't fight the discomfort. Strive to understand it. Tell me more. Ask yourself, why are you fighting back the feedback? Who is the you that you wish you could be? Tell me more. If you want to tell me more, I'd love to listen. I'm at leadership@bytitleonly.com. If you like this, please give it 5 stars, leave a review. I can't explain how much it means. Either way, I appreciate you. I'm grateful and humbled that you listen to this, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a great day.